Alright, let's not waste any time. This is 5 reasons why Microsoft are going to beat Sony's PS5 with the Xbox Series X and the Series S. First up, graphics should just look better on the Series X compared to the PS5, and that's including non-exclusive games. If we're talking numbers, the Xbox Series X does have the more power to do all that graphics stuff at 12 teraflops, just a bit over. Yes, that's not everything, but it still has the advantage there nonetheless. But then you might know the GPU actually clocks at a slower speed than the PS5, which contradicts my entire point at 1.825 GHz compared to 2.23. So how does it still beat it? The Xbox may run at a slower clock speed, but it's constantly clocked at that speed, so it can never actually slow down from it, and the devs don't have to worry about, oh, it's going to dip to this frequency at a certain point because of thermals or something like that, whereas the PS5 will do that, and currently we don't know when it's going to do that or how long it can sustain its max speed, so it could be faster for a long amount of time, could be faster for basically no time. So the base of it is that devs can build to the Series X knowing it will be constantly at that speed, not have to worry about that stuff, and consistently give you a higher graphical performance for more or less most of the games, especially ones that compare between the two. The first party titles probably won't be in that argument too much, but the ones that are on both systems should definitely look better on the Series X most of the time. All of that is of course in theory, we don't know, we're going to have to find out later, but theoretically that should be the case. Secondly, there's exclusive games. Now obviously this is very subjective to which games you actually like on each console and not down to which one has the biggest number of exclusive titles to their name. And then even if you go down the route of numbers, you could probably argue the PS5 has superior titles. There's Spider-Man, there's Gran Turismo, Horizon Forbidden West, the list probably goes on, but the counter argument to that for Xbox is Xbox Game Pass. The Game Pass is actually just an amazing thing in many ways. For a pure amount of games, there is a decent large amount for you to pick from. The key is that all first party titles that were released for the Xbox are all going to be available day one on the Game Pass at the same time, which is a brilliant feature. And that's huge if you're a fan of said titles that release, and even if you aren't, that at least gives you a chance. There'll be a lot of chances that Xbox have to give you to like one of them, and you don't have to pay more than what you was already paying for, which price wise we'll get into. You get that for $7.99 a month, but you can also upgrade to the Game Pass Ultimate, which not only gives you the same thing as before, it gives you the PC games which you can play on both platforms, and Xbox Live included, all for just $10.99 a month, which is a huge deal. Again, that only applies if it has value to you with all the games that are in it, but if it does, and you get Xbox Live included, you can see where that becomes a pretty nice deal and why it's pretty popular on Xbox. Sony does have PS Now as their alternative to that at $8.99. It also includes PS2 games, PS3 games, and obviously some PS4 games, but the first party titles that you'd want to be on there don't come in for a very long time, so you're pretty much stuck with the throwback games, and eventually those big titles like Spider-Man, etc. like that will eventually come in, but that takes too long to happen. There's also the fact that you can't just download the game to your console, you have to stream it to your console via your internet connection. If that's not that good, that's a problem. There are some games you can download, but again, that list is growing and it's pretty small right now. So PS Now is improvement and it's a good argument, but it's not there right now, and Xbox Game Pass just beats it outright. Reason 3 is the Series X, or Project Lockhart as it's being dubbed inside Microsoft. It's one of the biggest rumours that should end up being a cheaper variant to the Series X. Now no biggie, yes, PlayStation has the same sort of system, they have the PS5 and then they have the digital edition without the disc drive. That should save around £50/$50, that sort of region. But the Series X is actually spec'd lower than the Series X. It's aimed to be around 1440p we all think, which is obviously less than a 4K, but for people upgrading firstly, that might not be too much of an issue for them, and that's going to be a bigger price dip than a disc drive being removed from your console. That could be as much as 100 or even more off the price of the main big tier console, and that might be a better entry for people wanting to go to next gen. Obviously the prices are all pure speculation, there's a reason neither of them have released any prices, they both know they have stuff in stock. No one wants to say anything yet, so we have no idea, but logically it makes sense. A less spec console should be the cheaper alternative out of all of those. Now reason 4 is a unique one, and it is down to Xbox All Access. Now this is a finance system where you can get an Xbox console of your choice. Currently it's with the Xbox One X and the One S's, including Game Pass Ultimate, and you pay for it over 24 months. Simple, cheaper for a lot of people, it's a good entry to get into it. But they have also announced that will be coming with the Series X when that launches, and that could be a huge deal. That makes a lot of the decisions for someone quickly. They don't need to think about buying a game for it straight away because there'll be first party titles that will come out straight up on the Game Pass. They'll get the console up front, they'll get Xbox Live, they don't need to think of any of that, they just pay one flat fee a month, and it's a lot cheaper than buying the full thing straight away, which can be good for people. The One X is the most expensive option they do, obviously, because that's the biggest console they have. $21.99 that cost a month, So maybe 30, 35 or something like that a month. I don't know the exact maths on it, but that's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper than doing the PS5 route, which you have to just buy the console. PlayStation don't have an alternative to this right now. Maybe they launch one soon, but currently they just really don't. And yes, even though some people might just be able to buy each console outright anyway, and they won't have to worry about that, the decisions have already been made for you if you pick the Xbox side. The barrier to entry is so low, you just get a game straight away, you get the console, you get all the stuff. You don't even have to think about it, and it will probably end up being cheaper than paying it all outright and buying 1 or 2 games. And the final reason I think Microsoft are winning this is Xbox Smart Delivery. And putting it simply, you buy a game on the Xbox One of any sort, it releases on Series X with an upgrade, you get that Series X version for free. You only play once for 1 game. That way there's no worries about if you're planning ahead. You don't have to think if you're on the Xbox side, do I wait till the Series X comes out so I can buy the Series X version then? Just buy it now, play it now. When it comes out on a new one, you also get it there too, no extra cost. Sony, once again, don't have a matching system for that. They've left that down to the individual developers to pick themselves. Do they want to make that an option? And that could be tricky. I don't think every developer is going to take that option up, which means everyone on PlayStation is left in a bit of limbo. Do they buy the game now knowing that they're going to get a new version later on and they don't know if they're going to be able to upgrade for free? Who knows? They are very much uncertain. So that alone might make some PlayStation loyals switch over just for ease of mind that they can just buy a game once, don't even have to think about it for months, and then they get it again. Overall, the Xbox Series X and the rumoured Series S Lockhart have some very strong reasons to pick it over the rest. But that doesn't mean the PS5 is outright the worst option. Stay tuned for an upcoming video where I'll go over why I actually think Sony could still beat Microsoft and the Xbox Series X and S in this next generation war. But yeah, that was it. That's 5 reasons why I think the Xbox will win and why that might influence your decision. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you've got any more reasons or if you have counters to those reasons that I just haven't covered. Let me know. I'm very happy to hear them. But yeah, that's it. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.